So my name's Sam. I'm 17, junior right now in high school, and my story would have started, 2001 when I was born. I was diagnosed with some extremely severe visual impairments. So my left eye is completely, there's nothing there. My right is very low vision. So that was hard, and it has really shaped every part of my life. It has been affected by that from that point on, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. I kind of had a little bit of a walk with God, but not really very much. I had a child's walk with God, but it really got serious 4 or 5 years later when my doctor told me that my retina was detaching from the back of my eye, which in not doctor speak means that I was fixing to lose what little vision I had left. And that was hard. I got extremely angry with God because that makes sense, but it's what happened. I got angry with God and I cussed him out because, again, I was mad and I really wasn't thinking about what I was doing. I said, "Why did you do this to me? What is the point? If you're such a good God, then why did you do this?" And his answer absolutely, completely changed everything that I thought. He said to me, "It's because I'm omniscient," which means all-knowing. So, you just look at that answer and it doesn't seem like much of an answer. But once you actually think about it, omniscience, knowing everything, meant that he had to understand how I felt from my point of view, as in he was essentially me, but also from his point of view being God. And he would not have done that, would not have limited himself in such a way unless he had a very specific goal in mind, because you just don't do that. This has forced me, which is a good thing, to gain a much deeper dependence on God than I would have at this time, because I'm a teenage boy and we don't really like to ask for help about anything. But this blindness, this having to lean on God, has given me a acceptance of things, a trust in God that is far beyond what it would have been without this. My outlook now is, essentially, I'm here. I'm only going to be here for 60, 50 more years, which is not very long in the grand scheme of things. So now my outlook is just serve God. Whatever happens, and I don't know what he's planning for me yet, but I'll learn that in a few years. The outlook that I have now is just do whatever I can to serve God in whatever small way that I can, because, I'm only going to be here for a little while. So all I can do is just give it my best shot, and that's all I can do. Whatever happens, it's okay. This has given me a much more solid, I think, faith for my age, because I have to think about this. I have God. That's about all that I've got, so I have to lean on him to do things for me, which I should anyways, but most of the time, most of us don't, just because we want to do things ourselves. But I can't, so I have to trust that God will take care of things as it suits his time to do it. This has given me it's forced me to stop, slow down, to ignore the, first impressions of people. It's forced me to ignore, what they look like, maybe what they sound like. It's forced me to look deeper than that, to at least try to see them as God sees them, which is, it's hard, but it's how I should see them anyways, and don't. Trial with God is where he takes your problems and he forces you to lean on him to get rid of those problems. And it's hard and it doesn't feel too good, but it's really forcing a greater degree of trust in him and, to a lesser extent, power in yourself, because you can do only so much. So when you lean on God, things that you could not possibly understand that are outside the scope of your perception, he will make possible in your life. Really understanding that God created me in whatever way that he did gives you a feeling of power, because you realize that, or I realized that God, the creator of the universe, singled me out for something that would require the way that he made me to accomplish this purpose. So it gives an incredible feeling of power, knowing that God has set something special for me out to do. You just feel so incredible. There's really no words to describe just the overwhelming confidence that gives you. Power. I would say to them that your trial, and I don't know what it is, just fill in the blank with whatever your trial is. It is hard. It hurts. That's why they call them trials, because they're hard. But trusting on God, leaning on God, just constant prayer and reading your Bible, you have to lean on God to get through your trial because it's hard and it hurts, but there is a purpose. This might not have been how things were intended to go from the beginning. This might not be what was supposed to happen in your life because sin gets in the way like that, but whatever your trial is, it will work into God's plan and it will make you stronger as long as you lean on Him to get through it. I'd say, final thought, twofold. One, that everything that you go through, whatever your trial is, you might not be able to, you can see your trial pretty easily, but you can't see somebody else's. So just the remembrance that they have their trial. You have yours, they have theirs. It's not the same trial, but they still have their own trial to go through. And just keeping that in mind as you go through and remembering that no matter how good their life looks on the outside, they are just in the exact same trial boat that you are. And two, that these trials, everything that hurts, makes you, it forces out the weaker, selfish, greedy, sinful part of you. That is what a trial does, is it just makes you stronger as long as you trust in God while you're going through it.